So in our last video, you saw how we overclocked the 11900K and actually got it faster than the 10900K, even though it had less cores and such. Today, we're gonna continue on our whole, like, how fast will it go with probably the rarest GPU on the planet. Today, we are gonna be overclocking the PowerColor RX 6900 XT Ultimate Liquid Devil. What makes this card special? Well, it's pretty much got no limits. I guess it's only limited by our imagination. The all-new 5000D mid-tower airflow case from Corsair features an optimized front panel for maximum ventilation, while the integrated cable management and tempered glass side panel means you can show off more of your components and not your cable mess. To see the full list of specs and to learn more about the 5000D's flexible fan mounting options, perfect for both air cooling and water cooling enthusiasts, follow the sponsored link in the description below. All right, cheesy intros aside, in all honesty, this is a special edition Liquid Devil. So the Liquid Devil's already a special edition technically. It's a binned GPU, but then the Ultimate is like the binning of the binned GPUs. And then this one, they were like, hey, this was essentially a secret sauce. Do you like sauce? I was like, I like sauce. Let's get saucy. So we've taken a look at Liquid Devils in the past. They essentially are, oh, and that's right, this one has the colored dyes that come with it, right? This one is gonna have an EK water block on it. Here are the colored dyes they give us, either a yellow, a red, or a blue. Okay, that's cool. Here's our little manual, fitting plugs. I'm one of them now. It says you're one of us now. It's like a membership card. No members only jackets, but that's fine because this is what we actually care about right here. Oh my God. This is like the graphics card weight version of me. You look kind of normal. Okay, maybe not. But then I step on the scale and you go, damn, chunkier than I thought you were. So anyway, there it is right there. Now, because it has the custom water block and such, I could just hook a radiator and fans and stuff up to it, but that wouldn't be the Jay's 2 cents way. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna obviously do ice on this. Look at that, 3 8-pin connectors right there. Well, we're gonna find out today whether or not we actually need all 3 of those. And then the crooked sticker. Come on, PowerColor. It's crooked. All right, whatever. So we're gonna be hooking ice up to this and then we're gonna dunk it in a bucket. Try and get it as cold as possible because like I've told you before, a lot of the throttling that people see, that's satisfying. A lot of the throttling that you see in the bouncing core clocks and stuff are specifically related to the way that the boost clocks work with the temperature overhead and power draw. So this card features, and I don't know exactly how much additional power draw there is yet. They said virtually unlocked. I don't think that's necessarily true in that it's unlocked, but I think it's gonna have a much higher power limit. Look at the design on the front though. It's not raised, it's like in the material, but it looks nice. This is machined. Then if you look at the backside, it's got the same raised Liquid Devil logo, the same kind of a design there or whatever that's supposed to be, but it looks nice. So we're gonna be running this on our 11900K, not a high core count CPU because one, I'm not going for Port Royal scores. Unfortunately, as fast as this card is gonna be at like raster performance, we already know AMD's first gen core when it comes to ray tracing is basically on par with a 20 series card. So I don't think there's any way we're gonna overcome any 6900, or excuse me, 3090s when it comes to the Port Royal leaderboards. However, we are gonna start comparing graphics scores with Time Spy Extreme and Firestrike and all that sort of stuff. Again, we probably won't end up on the leaderboard today because those combined scores are specifically with CPU, can't remember what the exact test is, but the CPU score is taken into account into your overall score since we're at an extreme deficit with 11900K versus people running 3175Xs up there, 3990 when it comes to Threadripper. There's no way we're gonna get this CPU on the board, but we can at least compare graphics scores. But before we can even do that, we need to get this system up and running with an ice bucket loop. So let me do that real quick. All right, so I admittedly am a little worried about condensation. I mean, it is ice water after all, but I don't think we'll be spending an extended sessions here with this. So we've got our ice water going here in the bucket. We've got our 280 rad, which should be plenty for this GPU. We got antifreeze in there, so that will hopefully, it's actually not antifreeze, it's a marine mix, so it's more water than antifreeze, but hopefully that'll allow the temperatures to continue to come down some. I guess it can't go any colder than the water is, and that's not antifreeze, so that's just dumb of a thing to think, Jay. Whatever.
Science!
Nice, yeah, not in my brain. So it's still a little aerated, as you can see, but that's fine. It takes time for all those microbubbles to work their way out. Holy crap, the system boots fast. Okay, so let's load up Radeon software. I wanna see what frequency it's gonna go to and what the temps immediately go to. Okay, 2670 out of the box. Look at the junction temperature, 38. 285 watts, okay. All right, so we're going manual on this guy now. 2661, we clearly need more than that. We need to turn on all of the tunings. Dude, that goes to 4,000 megahertz on the slider. I don't think that's gonna work. So we're at 2887 already. That already, 2891, that's already the fastest AMD GPU I've touched. And here's the thing, I've been looking at TimeSpy and the leaderboards that actually have 6900 XTs up there. This is already like the second fastest one I've seen. And I've not even started tuning, and we'll take a look at that in a second here. But let me go ahead and bump this to 3000. I don't think it's gonna go 3000, obviously. Temperatures are at 45. So it's 2928. Oh, and a crash. Okay, so the very first 6900 XT on the list is right here. This X-Root X guy, looks like he's from Brazil. So we need to see right now if we can beat a 23,400. I think I need to print screen that. I need to open up Paint because it's the most amazing program ever for artwork.
What was possible way to do a screenshot that Jay's stuck in his old ways?
What's your way then? I never use a snippet tool or anything.
Hold Windows and push print screen, and then it saves it to your screenshots folder.
I have a screenshots folder?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know about that. If we can actually get it to like loop through heaven without crashing, we should be good. So what you have to do with AMD is you have to set a minimum frequency and a maximum frequency. And it's set to 2960 as our max, and our min is set to 2668. So it's actually gonna find somewhere in between there where it thinks it can land based on power draw, temperature, and I guess max power limit. So we're at 45 junction, that should be very good. If I could get that down to like the 20s, I bet you we'd be more stable. Because remember, just a little bit of temperature change can actually make a big difference. 1988 is our VRAM megahertz, so I think I should just try maxing the VRAM that he had. 2150 is where he was. 340 watts, 49 on the junction. Let's see if me moving the radiator now can bring that temp down some. Did it crash? Yep. Maybe we'll start with like 2850 or so. So I decided to go ahead and do the submergible pump in here.
Submergible?
Submergible. There we go. That's going through the rad, so that'll help. Okay, now we got water going through the rad. This is the part about overclocking that's tedious. Let's just see where we land with an automatic overclock GPU and we gotta get through a test, right? So we just finished a stock run essentially here without any overclock really applied. It was just the auto overclock, which we saw doesn't really do anything. So that was a graphics score of 19983. Oops, and we need to be 23,400. Wow, we gotta make up 3,000, almost 3,000, 2,500 points. So I'm gonna do some modest overclocking, and I wanna see how much RAM can pick up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do fast timing, and we'll do the 2150 on the RAM. So we're gonna see, we go from a 19983 or just under 20,000. Let's see if we see any sort of creep in terms of score. So that test is done. So we'll see what the memory speed did and what the fast timing setting, if that changed anything. All right, so we picked up what, 300 points? 20,272. So we still have over 2,000 points to make up, like 2,300 points, something like that. 2,700 and 2,800 was our min max. 2759. All right, so we're getting somewhere. Now I'm just gonna try the 2,800 min, 2,900 max. See if it can just get through the test. The loop's as cold as it's gonna get. The edge temp was 3C, the junction temp was 7C, so 4C spread there while it was on idle, so under load it should start in the 30s, and hopefully we can get through the test before it gets too warm. I believe what's happening here, because we don't have any true voltage control, I believe that we are getting just a little bit too warm for the frequencies we're trying to push, or in this case, it didn't even start the test. This is unfortunate. I mean, you can unlock a card all you want, but it starts to get to the point to where, you know, the card can only go so far with certain limits in place, and without any sort of voltage control, in terms of giving it just a slight amount of voltage, you know, extra, I do not believe that we're going to get anywhere with this card. So 20,161 seems to be about as high as I can get this card to go. And here's the thing, I'm not gonna be able to get on the Hall of Fame. I've got to get all the way up to 23,189 just to be in the 100th place. And the guy here from Brazil that's at 65th place, X-Root, he's at 2770 and 2150. And he's at 23,400. So I'm not entirely sure how he's doing that. But if we take a look at my run here, my frequency is at 2780. So I can't imagine how on earth I'm gonna make up for over 2,000 points when I'm technically 10 megahertz higher than his. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make that up, honestly. So since we got that to run though, at our highest frequency yet, I'm gonna go ahead and try the 2800 and 2900 offsets here, run one more test. And then I just wanna see where we land on Firestrike. We might end up on the board somewhere with Firestrike. Firestrike, for some odd reason, really favors AMD GPUs. It's funny, there's always that whole like, you know, Intel gets favored in this test and NVIDIA gets favored in that test. Nobody ever talks about the test that AMD is actually favored in. And AMD is extremely favored in Firestrike. For some reason, that DX11 test is just, it loves the Navi architecture. So we'll head there after this one. I'm just curious if this test will even pass. I'm not positive it will, but I need to see what kind of score we can make up for. We're not getting 2,000 points. I can tell you that, that's not happening. So that's disappointing. It crashed right there. You can see where it crashed. It crashed because it almost went to 29. Oh, because I did have it set 2800. Okay, so one last one. Instead of 2900, we'll do 2875 and 2775. We'll do that. I'm thinking maybe I haven't spent enough time overclocking AMD cards to kind of figure out their nuances yet. I mean, think about how many videos it took for us to figure out the 3090 with the LN2 and stuff, and still haven't figured it out. Still in the top 10 though. Number 10 is still the top 10. Bringing up the rear. Jay's 2 cents, YouTuber. I'm the caboose that I feel like somebody's up there like actively pulling the pin out, so I'll just like fall off the train. I'm sure all the XOC guys would love to see me just barrel down the, whatever. All right, so I'm doing a system reboot for good measure. We're running out of time though. We've got condensation really building up, and I do not feel like killing this card due to condensation. It's funny because I reduced the clocks 20 megahertz and it crashed instantly at the start of the run. So this is where it just becomes extremely frustrating because it's kind of like I gave you less and you did less in a worser way. Like when it had more, it made it all the way through the test under more stress with the higher core clocks, and then I reduced the core clock and then it crashes. It's like, okay, whatever. So now we're just gonna go right to Firestrike. We couldn't make it on the Time Spy board, but something tells me with the fact that there is only one 6900 XT up there, that guy clearly had some sort of a secret formula when that ran. All right, so we're gonna do Firestrike Ultra. Hey, check this out, we got 10900K up here. Although, oh, that's X-Root, that's that guy again. 2892, look at that. So his 6900 XT at some point, he got it to 2892. We might have a chance of being on this leaderboard somewhere. What's number 100? 15,117 as a combined with a 5900X and a 6900 XT. Maybe we'll just see where we land right now, again, with the auto overclock GPU. 14,938. So that's promising though. Let's run it back. I think this might have gotten us on the board.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, I told you that would get us on the board. Okay, that's nice. I mean, something happened.
Yay!
Graphics card is not recognized. Generic VGA? How?
Wait, it was reported correctly in the app.
Yeah. Wait, what? That's fine. We know we did it. See, look right here. Your graphics, AMD Radeon RX 6900X, 2825 megahertz. What the heck, man? Okay, we'll just do regular Firestrike. 320 FPS, 340, 350, 380. Oh my God. Test was canceled by user. No, it wasn't. No, I did not. Someone in 3D Mark is just over there like, hey, Jay's benchmark, you watch this. Oh, he's going again. No, wait till he's right at the end. He's finishing the test. I got it. Okay, do you recognize my stuff this time? Yes, it does. 37186. There it is again. Graphics card not recognized. Okay, so the program is recognizing it, but the website is not. Wouldn't have even got us on the board. We had to be 43,000 to get up there.
Jeez.
Well, I think I'm gonna do one more run where I just sort of send it. All right. It crashed, and that's where we're gonna go ahead and end this video. We melted all the ice.
Oh, wow.
That tells you how much heat was actually being pumped in here. I don't think I've ever gone through the ice that fast. Look, so here's the deal. I was expecting this card to go a lot farther. I was trying to think of an analogy that this would make sense to a lot of people. This card, if it were an engine, it's got forged internals. It's got the best bearings. It's balanced, right? It's blueprinted. It's honed properly. Everything is just like meticulously built. It's got all the proper studs, all the proper, hardened springs, it's double springs, custom grind cam, like all that stuff on a stock fuel system. If we can't play with the voltage and we can't get voltage to go any farther, we become limited by our fuel system, which in this case is voltage. I think it's a great card for just plugging into your system, and it is very wet on top. I'm gonna turn it off. This is a great card in terms of its build quality. The frequency slider is allowed to go very far. The memory slider is allowed to go very far, but without true unlocked voltage, we're never going to be able to get this card to where I think it needs to be. What's happening with the other cards that are on the leaderboards? Well, the 6900 XT has been around long enough now to where these guys are tinkering with them and maybe even doing some custom PCB modding. I know some of the XOC guys have moved on to the AMD cards now to kind of have a battle there to see what's going on, and Firestrike seems to be obviously where a lot of that's taking place. It's one of those things where with this extreme price for the Ultra, it's one of those, I think even the standard Liquid Devil would be perfectly fine. I think at this point, anyone that could get their hands on any version of a card would be happy. So how much could you really complain about it? But yeah, the Unleashed BIOS obviously gave us bigger sliders or longer sliders when it comes to the frequency and stuff. It's just, without being able to spend a lot more time with truly dialing it in, or maybe even getting it colder, which you're not gonna be able to do necessarily with water, because like you can see now, like condensation is literally all over it. It would probably need an LN2 pot and unlocked voltage to get it to go farther. If I'm doing something wrong and you guys are watching this, or you're one of the XOC guys and you're like, Jay, you're doing it wrong and here's why, please comment down below. And not just, Jay, you're dumb, that's what's wrong. I already know that. I need helpful advice, not repeating things I've already been told, all right? Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this video interesting in some way. It wasn't exciting. I honestly thought maybe we could have hit like somewhere near the top of the leaderboard by what we were told this card was capable of. But at least right now with Ice Water and the sliders limited as the way they are, you can see there's clearly lots of cards that are scoring higher than us in the 6800 XT range. All right, guys, thanks for watching. And as always, we'll see you in the next one. And speaking of next one, well, the next two videos, you're not gonna wanna miss. One might involve another worldwide giveaway, and another one involves me announcing another themed build I'm doing that is going to be the most theme build I've ever done. Our live stream on Friday, we talked about how you stay interested in themed builds when we do custom case mods and stuff. That got the brain juices turning. Yeah, the brain juices turned in my head, not gears, two juices. And then I came up with something and I bought something that's gonna be delivered tomorrow. And I'm gonna show it to you guys, so don't miss that. All right, we'll see you in the next one. Nick, come clean this up.